But pretty soon we're gonna go into the next part of this Money Monday, which is talking about Uber Eats, my thoughts on doing it in 2025, and also just some quick tips that I recommend that you do if you are going to do it, because it is very different from when I initially started, like some time ago. So while we're waiting, it doesn't look like we have any questions from the freelancing content. So we'll go ahead and slide into the Uber Eats content. So okay, well that's fine. But as y'all can see, I think this is a great place to start the Uber Eats segment. So regardless of how you feel about Trump and this whole thing with the ICE raids and whatnot, I do live in Texas, so that's a border state. Okay, and with that being the case, prior to him getting in office, there was nothing but like this deadly gray, just gray, no surge at all. And about a month and some change after he got in office and started signing certain stuff, this actually became the regular. So yeah, here, yeah, there we go. Now I can share that, and y'all can see me. So why am I sharing this? The reason being, this plays into my advice for doing Uber Eats right now. Not everyone will be able to do this because it depends on your car. But if you're signed up for Uber Eats only account, like you only get deliveries, if your car qualifies for UberX or the normal rideshare, first evaluate, are you getting the promotions that come with having an Uber Eats account? Like, I throw some out there. During lunch hours or dinner hours, you're getting like $1 more per delivery, or $1.50, or there's a boost zone, or there are decent quests. If you're getting that already, then just omit what I'm about to say. If you're not getting those promos, then I would actually sign up for a dual account. This is an account that can do deliveries and rideshare. Here's the reason why. If you have a dual account, then you'll qualify for a surge, and you don't even have to technically take a rideshare request. Now, they are going to come in, and they're going to come in heavy because what's causing the surge is on the rideshare end. But if a delivery comes in during a surge zone, you're going to get that surge. So you see on the screen it says 3.75 in the east, in the northeast part of Dallas, right? Well, if you get a delivery request in the middle of that surge zone, you're going to get that whatever the delivery pays plus the 375. And just to give y'all like a visual, the total amount will be what you see. So let's say the delivery by itself would have paid $5. So you see the request pop up as $5, right? But it's in the surge zone of $3.75. Well, that means that you would see a total of $8.75 pop up on the delivery, and you have the option to take it. So that means, regardless of if the surge disappears 5 seconds after you take the delivery, it's still yours. So essentially, this is a way for the market to kind of regulate itself, because whenever it's surging, during peak times, you can make some pretty decent money. The only caveat is when it's not surging, you won't get anything. That includes the normal Uber Eats like quests and boosts if you were getting them. That's assigned to the rideshare stuff, so you won't get it with a dual account. But I have both accounts. I have an Uber Eats only account, and I have a dual account. And I haven't seen an Uber Eats request or Uber Eats bonus in like forever. Let me rephrase that. I haven't seen a decent one. I've seen some bullshit talking about earn by time, like, hey, we'll guarantee you make $15 an hour if you take every single request that's paying $2 for you to go 17 miles. In fact, you know what? Why talk about it? I'm gonna give y'all some visual examples. So if this was to pop up on the screen, and I was gonna be taking these Uber Eats promos that they send on my Uber Eats only account, right? I would have to take something like this. Yeah, so let's break that down. $10.58 for over slightly over 30 miles. But if I wanted to make $15 per hour, according to the Uber Eats promo, I would have to take that. And if I declined it, I'm out of the running to make $15 an hour, which, at least in my market, who the hell wants to make $15 an hour? You should be striving for 20, maybe $25 an hour. So those are the type of promos I was getting on my Uber Eats only account. Definitely not worth it, right? So that's why I'm recommending that people get a dual account if your car qualifies for it. If your car doesn't qualify for a dual account, there's not too much that you can do. At least Uber Eats. You could do the multi app thing. You're like doing Uber Eats and DoorDash and all that stuff. But yeah, aside from that, another issue that I've noticed, and this gotten so much worse over the years, is you go to a delivery restaurant and the food has already been picked up by another driver. At least that's what the restaurant is telling us. Whether it's a glitch or it's true or whatever, the point is we wasted our gas going there. And essentially, if you cancel that delivery, then it's an endless like loop. That ping keeps going out to the next driver, which shows up like, oh, we gave it to someone else, then they cancel. In fact, Uber Eats even has a option in the cancel menu that says it was picked up by another driver. I don't ever click that because it doesn't actually solve the problem. Number one. Number two, I drove to the restaurant, so I want to be paid for that. But the only way to end this cycle so that the next driver won't be penalized for driving there, you have to call support. And calling Uber Eats support, you tell them that the restaurant can't fill the order, and then they'll manually cancel it, which cancels out the whole order, so it won't keep pinging out there. Now, up until 2 weeks ago, at least this is what support told me. But up until 2 weeks ago, if you called and you told someone that essentially, I never use the phrase someone picked up the order because they're going to give you a robotic response and they'll keep saying, oh, there's nothing we can do, nothing we can do. I tell them the restaurant tells me they're unable to fulfill the order. That can mean any number of things. And it also means that someone could have picked it up and they can't fulfill the order. So they cancel the order, the delivery, and then they tell me, oh, you're free to continue making other deliveries, but we can't compensate you for driving to the restaurant. I then demand to speak to a supervisor and tell them I need to hear that from him or her. And once I explained that I drove to the restaurant and it's usually a few miles away and didn't get paid for it, and I was at the restaurant for X amount of time while waiting on hold for y'all to cancel the order, I need to be compensated. I actually would receive some kind of compensation. Now, I wasn't consistent. I've gotten $4, I've gotten $8, I've gotten $10. And to be honest, the wait time wasn't really that different either. It's always, I'd be waiting, it would take a total of 10 to 15 minutes from the point that I discover that the restaurant's not going to fulfill the order to the points where they compensate me on the phone. So it's not ideal. I'd rather just be able to just pick up an order and deliver it. But it was balanced in the equation. But as of 2 weeks ago, according to support, when I talked to them about a week ago, I encountered the same situation when I was talking to the supervisor. She said that something has changed in the Uber Eats policy where they no longer can compensate the delivery drivers for orders and picked up or whatever. And she did confirm that there is some kind of glitch in this regard. So it's not always a driver picking up like a driver stealing food. There is a glitch in the system which is causing this problem to happen. And that Uber is in the process of fixing that glitch so that it won't happen anymore. Yeah, I guess time will just have to see how that plays out. But in the meantime, she said that they're not going to be compensating drivers for going to the restaurant. So that, to be honest, that kind of pissed me off. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. And right now, we're talking about Uber Eats and my thoughts on the state of the market right now. But if you have any questions on Uber Eats or freelancing, drop them in the chat. Or if you want to come on, feel free to come on. We can chop it up. But my advice, let's go ahead and pull this order back up. My advice for everyone right now doing Uber Eats, until they fix this bug where if you go to a restaurant and they say some driver picked it up and Uber is not going to pay you for that, you really need to analyze the trips that you're taking. I have this on the screen. This is an example of some ridiculous stuff I would never take. But let's just play around with the mileage here. You see where it says 30 miles. Let's just say it was like only a mile away and it was for like $20. Does that really? Oh, and to add some icing on the cake, let's say it was a McDonald's order. Does that sound very reasonable? Would someone? Okay, maybe not McDonald's because I've never actually encountered this glitch with McDonald's. But let's just say it's a $20 order and it's going like a mile. Does that really sound like uh, something you would encounter in your market? If it seems a little sus, there's a good chance that's one of those orders. Uh, it's a glitch and it's just pinging out there. And if you go there, the restaurant's going to tell you, "Hey, a driver already picked up the food," so you might not even want to take it. So y'all need to do some testing in your market to see what exactly is normal. And if something seems abnormal, like it's way too good to be true, there's a good chance that it's one of those glitched orders that once you go there, the restaurant's not going to make the order because another driver, quote unquote, picked it up. Whether it's a glitch or the driver stole the food, I would just ignore that request altogether. Now, there's some exceptions. Sometimes uh, a family could be ordering a huge order, and that's why the tip is so big, and that's why the order is like $12 or $14. But that's what I meant by y'all need to analyze the market. That's not unusual for my market, but there is a threshold. Like if someone is paying like $20 to go 2 miles a restaurant away, that's abnormal for my market. So I don't even want a chance going to the restaurant for them to tell me it's already been picked up, unless it's maybe half a mile away. Then if I do go there and they say that I haven't really lost that much, let's say I'm not next to the restaurant, I'm like 3 miles away, I just wouldn't take it. I hate to say this, but we got to play the game this way until they fix this glitch. Hopefully they do at some point, but they have to do something because I'm gonna be honest. If the FTC sees that this is going on, Uber can get fined like several $1 million because this generally is unacceptable for all parties involved. And it could go off, they could interpret it as a data breach, or they could just see it as a way of Uber's pocketing money. It could go a several different ways. So they need to fix this stuff like ASAP. Because I can see the FTC hitting them with some kind of huge fine. But we have to wait and see in that regard. So as far as Uber Eats goes, that's all I got for y'all right now. I still, what are my thoughts on driving for Uber Eats right now? How many times are y'all encountering going to a restaurant and the food's been picked up? That's the biggest thing with me. It has kind of taken the fun out of doing Uber Eats for me. Where if a request pops up and it pays a lot of money, and then you get excited about going there, and it turns out that someone else picked up the food or something. It just makes it not worth it. It makes me second guess taking those orders. It interrupts the flow of deliveries. It has kind of slowed down a little since the beginning of this year, but it's still there. So I would say out of every 20 deliveries, I'll bump into this one time. That's too much. Ideally, it wouldn't happen at all, but I can live with that. But if this is happening more in your market, I would honestly say it's probably not worth it, to be honest. I don't know when they're going to fix the glitch, but and this is not even taking into account how much money you're making. You need to calculate how much money you're making per hour. And if it's below, I want to say $15 an hour, it's probably not worth it. If it's still above $15 an hour and not so many of these glitched orders are floating out there, I would say it's still worth it. Hopefully they'll fix this issue so it can just become fun again. But those are my thoughts on the Uber Eats market. And my biggest piece of advice is really to sign up for a dual account because at least in my market, promotions for Uber Eats have been very scarce. So if you have a dual account, you can take advantage of this. So you see that surge, right? You want to get some of it. But that's my thoughts on Uber Eats. It's not the juggernaut it used to be, but it can still make you some decent money.